Today, we are going to be taking a look at the Pokemon market in 2022 and also how that can affect your Pokemon investments in 2022. So, guys, if you're new here, hit that subscribe, hit that notify, and as always, hit that like. We get 70 likes on this video. It's greatly appreciated. It helps us out a ton and it's free for you. So, today, we are just going to take a deep dive into a couple of the items that have come out between Brilliant Stars and, of course, Astral Radiance. Take a look at how that they've been performing. The first one I'm going to just pull up on the screen here real quick is going to be this, which is this Arceus V-Box. Now, this is an interesting one because we all had great expectations for this box. It's a fantastic layout. The Cosmic Eclipse pack, the Chilling Rain, and then, of course, the two Brilliant Stars packs really drive like a premium on the actual items inside of this box, plus that Japanese promo that was finally released in the English version, and then, of course, the figurine. This box is typically a one print only. They usually don't go back and reprint these kind of collections because of that figurine. So once again, when they sell out, they're usually gone. Now, some interesting things have happened on this. We were expecting a sellout fairly quickly. As you can see, even on the pre-orders, people were expecting a sellout pretty quickly. They were willing to pay about $44 for pre-release. Now, if you remember back in the video when they were talking about this being a good potential investment coming up, I pointed this out and said I would not do this in any way, shape, or form if you were going to be investing in this product and to wait till it hits the store shelf and see what the market does or how much it corrects. You'll have great opportunities to find this in a wild, which we knew it was going to be released at every box store. MJ Holding, of course, was going to be releasing this. GameStop, everybody's going to have accessibility to this. It wasn't an exclusive to a store. And it did exactly what we figured it would. Even before the release, it started to come down. I think as orders and numbers started to come in for what the allocations were going to be for this, that looked like it was going to be fairly good. So it started to drop down in price right away. Right here was about the release date. I believe it dropped on the 25th, if I remember right. And as you can see, since then, it's just all been downhill. We've seen no catch on that. We've seen no correction on the upward direction so far. It's been nothing but down, down, down. And it's kind of interesting. I can still find this in my stores. These boxes have been sitting there pretty much stagnant. I went down to my local store. There was still 3 of these on the shelf. Now, what does that mean? What are we looking at on why a box that so many of us thought would have been a good investment kind of stalled and not really move? Well, there's probably a couple reasons behind it. The number one reason I think that we got an issue with this is that they probably printed more than what the demand was for this product. Pokemon has a tendency sometimes to really overshoot, which, they're guessing, and they overshot what the demand is, so thus people aren't buying it. The number 2 reason I think that it might be is that some people are starting to slow down on purchasing these sealed products. The price points of these at $24.99 are good. But if you start pushing up above that, people aren't as likely to buy them. And I'm seeing that actually on my sales on TCG Player also. It's been pretty common for me to have to start lowering my pricing on some of my sealed product. Also on eBay and a couple of the other places I sell, I'm starting to have to reduce cost. And that's because people aren't buying as much sealed product. Now, the interesting thing is that it's actually kind of the opposite on singles. I'm seeing some upward movement in sales on singles. So far, the last few days, we've gotten quite a few orders for singles that have been sitting for quite a while on my TCG Player. And what I've noticed is that the prices are actually starting to move upward on these singles, which means my pricing I set, which on some of them I set high intentionally because I wanted the market to catch them. And then some of them I put them a little bit just below the lowest person. That way they get sold if I want to get rid of them. Tournament cards, of course, do extremely well. I always enjoy selling what's currently being played in tournament. There's great opportunities in those. Those have been consistently selling as I'm pulling them out of bulk. So there's been no issue with the sales on those. But what we've really been seeing is that sometimes the rainbow rares, the ultra rares, some of the full art trainers and things like that, even the full art trainer gallery has been a little bit slow to sell in the recent month. And all of a sudden, that's changing. I'm seeing less sales on singles, more sales on singles, and less sales on sealed product. Now, is that indicative of what we might be seeing in the market? Are people, instead of going for the pull or trying to pull this item or get this item out of this box, so try and get this RCSV, promo out of there, are they just purchasing it instead? They're skipping the dance of trying to find that pull card or get that pull card, and instead of doing that, they're just buying these singles instead, which means if you're trying to sell single products or sealed products, it might become very difficult here to get any kind of premium, or at least seeing that 20 to 30% that we've sometimes seen out of the gate. We might be seeing that really slow growth. These boxes, in order to be something that might be profitable towards someone or like myself, might now take 6-8 months to even a year before we might see that actual uptick. So this is one of the things that I wanted to point out, that we are seeing some of these boxes that we all predicted were going to be extremely well are now kind of sitting stagnant. We're seeing some retraction on some of the other products also. Next one I want to point out here is the RCSV alternate art from Brilliant Stars. Now I wanted to pull this one up because, of course, we got the Palkia and Dialga inside of Brilliant Stars, and what we could be seeing here is possibly a trend for what those cards might be doing themselves. Overall, this card went, on release date, which was really high, was $75 as always, and we've seen this card kind of just retrace down all the way down into about that $50 range. Now, do I think that this card might be a little bit undervalued at $50? I think so. If you could get some good quality cards and you could actually put these away for a little bit, after we get through all the reprints of Brilliant Stars and we actually get this market to settle in, I feel that $50 is probably a little bit low for this Arceus card. It's RCSV. There's enough Arceus fans out there, and there's enough opportunity for this card to become popular that I think that it would be a shoe-in for possibly an underrated card. I definitely wouldn't be purchasing any of these in large quantities yet. I feel that after these next reprints come out of Brilliant Stars, because you got to remember, Brilliant Stars is a very playable set. It's one of the top decks right now, is an RCSV deck. So an Arceus deck. So when you look at that, we might be seeing this price kind of retracting a little bit more after more and more reprints come out. But definitely before the end of the set, before we get out of tournament play in 2 years on this, I would be looking at this card as potential investment. I think that there's some great opportunities built into this card, and I feel that it might go down a little bit more through the reprints, but after this set goes out of tournament, or if you see this deck starting to get retired because there's better decks out there, we may see this price start to go up, and at which point might be a great opportunity to jump in on it. So just a heads up on that one. I feel that this one might be a really underrated card right now in the current market. Next one I'm going to pull up here is the new Palkia Origin Form V. This card came out and just dropped like a rock in the first week here of print. So when it was released or pre-release, we were sitting at about $90. So this is back in May. If you come up here right about pre-release, so right here was right at release time, we were already down to about $75 after the pre-release tournaments. And since then, it's just kind of stabilized at about $65. Now, I feel that this card is probably going to go up from here. I think the pull rates of this set are going to create this thing to really go up in price because more and more people are going to get into it. More and more people are going to get interested in having this for their alternate art collections, trying to complete the Gods of Pokemon collections, these kind of things. They want Arceus, Palkia, and Dialga. And I feel that this one may go up if these pull rates continue through another reprint of Astral Radiance. I think the next reprint, when we get it, if the pull rates are better, this card will continue to go down and probably meet that Arceus card. But if the pull rates continue the way they are, we might be seeing this card continue to kind of trend upwards after this. Next one I'm going to do is the Origin Form Dialga V. Once again, the one from Astral Radiance, one of the alternate arts. I really do like this artwork. I think it's a really nice card. On release, we were roughly about $110. Since then, another one, it's just kind of slowly slipped down and sitting around 70. Sales have been between like $75 and $90. So we're sitting about $80 so far right now at the market value on this one on average. Once again, I was going to go down here. There's about 40 listings available for it. So there's quite a few of these available right now on the open market, which may tend to put pressure down on this as more listings become available. Once again, though, comparatively, I remember on the release of Brilliant Stars, that Arceus had 60 to 70 listings incredibly quickly. And the fact that we are like 1 week in and we're only at like 40 listings here. And if we go back to the Palkia, we're at 36. So we're sitting 40 or under on these alternate arts. That tells you how much more difficult it's been to get the pulls on this. Now, granted, less people might be opening this product because there's not as much interest. So there's might be kind of multiple things that are causing this market fluctuation for the amount of listings. But that's also could be what keeping this price from dropping down to that Arceus standard of all the way down around that $50, under $50 right now for this card. So that's one of those things. I just want to just kind of show you guys what's happening now with these alternate arts. And it's kind of interesting how the market's kind of playing differently from Brilliant Stars to Astral Radiance. Similar kind of trend, but not that choppy drop. Brilliant Stars kind of did that choppy drop every time that a new product or something would get released. Well, these ones kind of just did a full out drop out to the bottom. Granted, this has only been a week and a half since the release, going on 2 weeks. So we'll really be able to see what's going to happen here over the next couple months and see how it compares to that Arceus card. But I predict that we're going to be seeing probably a similar trend, and we're going to probably see similar pricing on these ones. So I wouldn't necessarily jump on these alternate arts yet. Wait until the next wave of Astral Radiance comes in. Once again, I think that they'll be kind of underrated during the current tournament session and during the reprint session. But these will definitely be great investment cards, I think, in the future that you could be watching. And definitely watch that price point to drop down to something a little bit more favorable yet in the future. Now, one that's kind of interesting from Astral Radiance is this Beedrill V alternate art. Now, I really like this alternate art because, once again, it's Pokemon alternate art inside of their like natural habitat or how they would be in the wild. Here they are out pollinating a field of flowers. And what we've seen is this one actually did the opposite. It kind of started going down right at release. And I remember looking at this the day after release and right shortly after it, how it just kind of started moving in that downward direction. And then I was actually really surprised when I opened this one up to just check it out to see where it was going, that holy cow, this thing is already going up for sales over $40. So guys, this card is doing extremely well. I mean, the lowest price one right now is about $43, almost $44. So once again, this one's moving up. We're seeing kind of an interesting that this one may actually, well, it'll be passing the Arceus V card, which was actually really surprising, but I can see why. I mean, I can understand where that market price is coming from. Once again, Beedrill, OG Pokemon coming into the cast, and a really cool alternate art of them actually functionally doing what Pokemon do in the wild. I feel that these cards, in the long run, may outperform some of these cards in the future. I mean, this one's kind of interesting. It's kind of like a, I don't know, really modern type artwork. And same here, but this is more realistic. Same with the Machamp card. We're seeing the same trend here. Let me pull that up real quick. So I can go down here. I think I actually saw it here. So while I'm doing this on the recording, I'll pull this up for you here real quick. And you can see my really slow internet here. We had a power outage, so the internet's a little bit on the slow side. So if we pull this up, we are seeing exactly the same trend as we are with the Beedrill, which once again is Pokemon doing exactly what they do in the anime. So it's an interesting concept that right now, the two alternate arts in here that are very much realistic type Pokemon are moving in that upward direction. And the same thing here, I'm not going to open it up, but the Hisuian Sneasler V is also doing the exact same thing. So all three realistic artworks are going in the upward direction, while the other ones are going in the downward direction. So interesting little thing in the market. Maybe it's a trend. Maybe it's what we're going to start to see in the future. But like I said today, guys, I just want to go over these kind of cards and see what we're looking at. Personally, I think we're going to start seeing more trends where we'll be seeing more movement in singles. At least that's what we're seeing for sales right now, is singles are selling a little bit better. We're seeing more movement in that area, and we're seeing a little bit less or tighter less movement in the sealed product. We're actually seeing a little bit of a retraction or stall on that, and that just could be coming down to money. People don't want to open up product to try and find things, number one. Number two, it could also just be becoming down to the fact that people are coming to realization that it's easier just to buy the single cards than it is to try and pull them yourself. They'll try a few or do some things at the beginning, and then we'll just see it. Currently, I'm seeing on the market Astro Radiance booster boxes have now dropped down to about $80 to $82 a booster box if you buy a case. There's quite a few listings right now on eBay at that price, and there was also a listing on here that sold that was about $82 a box when you figured it out, with about $82.50 with shipping. So once again, I mean, it's just one of those things. Where's the market going? We're seeing a lot of slowdown on sealed product, at least through Astro Radiance era now, and we're seeing a lot more movement in the singles versions, a lot more sales on singles in general right now on all the sites. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think is going on with the market right now. I'm kind of interested to hear what you guys have to say. And as always, if you did enjoy the content, and hit that like button, that way you can help us out on the algorithm. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe and hit that notify. And if you do like this content, as always, I'll put up these two videos up over here for you for your information afterwards. And we will see you next time here on Northwoods TCG.